lovely Misfitians, and welcome back to another video. So I'm Carrie, your watercolor misfit, basically the artist behind this channel. And for this particular video, we're going to be doing Coffee with Carrie. So it's basically me chit-chatting with y'all about just things that are going on in the studio, as well as videos that I have released. This particular video, I'm going to be talking about watercolor charts and specifically how they can help you overcome basically art block or a fear of starting a project or starting in watercolor. So with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. So today I'm going to be talking about 4 different ways that watercolor charts can really help you overcome art block. And a lot of people, I think, over the years have been like, why should I do watercolor charts? They're kind of pointless. And I'm going to be getting into the whys of how it helps you with your art in another video. But today I just wanted to concentrate on how these watercolor charts can actually help you to spark your creativity and actually start painting, which is one reason why I actually like to do watercolor charts. I am a huge swatcher, and basically I will do these for hours on end, and it's basically because I am usually dealing with some sort of anxiety when it comes to painting, and I need to push through that in some way or in some manner. So one of the ways that watercolor charts can really help you with art block specifically is that, as you probably know, repetition can help you build confidence. So you are usually doing in a watercolor chart the same task over and over and over and over again. And it's kind of like, think about public speaking when you first start. You're really nervous about public speaking and speaking in front of somebody. I know when I first started public speaking, even with this channel, but I remember one particular class in college was public speaking, and I was so freaking nervous to do my first speech, which was only in front of like 25 kids. It wasn't even like the large group that they would have you do at the very end. And so I was so nervous about that. But as our teacher kept giving us assignments and doing small little speeches and going over and over and over those again and again, by the time we were done with the semester and we had to speak in front of 50 students, fellow students in the classroom, I felt a lot more confident in doing that particular task. And the same is true with watercolor charts. The more you do one task over and over and over again, the easier it's going to get when you actually have to do it in a painting. So that is one reason why watercolor charts are so incredibly helpful. So the next reason why watercolor charts is so helpful is dealing with color relationships. So this I'll get into a little bit more in basically learning how watercolor charts can help you with art itself, but I feel like it also helps boost your confidence when you're dealing with paints and working especially with them together. So especially I'm thinking of gradients and glazing and color mixing. Those 3 types of charts can be very daunting if you are just going into a painting without knowing how those paints are going to react to one another, since we're dealing with 2 colors typically that are being mixed together in some fashion or some form. So understanding the color relationships or how those paints work together, or even how they don't work together, well, will help boost your confidence because you will know exactly what colors you want to be working with for a particular painting, and you won't have to worry, are these paints actually going to work well with one another? So one common question that I get asked a lot is, how do I choose my limited color palettes? Well, this is one way that I can choose my limited color palettes and choose them wisely, is basically looking at my watercolor charts, having confidence that the colors that I pick are going to work well with one another and harmonize well with one another if I'm doing gradients or glazing or even color mixing with a particular set of colors. The third way that watercolor charts can really help you with art block is what I like to call fortune telling. So these charts actually help you kind of tell the future. How do they help you tell the future? Ooh, it sounds spooky. Well, basically, you are doing one task over and over and over again, and you're going to know whether that paint works the same over and over and over again. Some paints you're going to notice they work really well with certain colors, just like we spoke about earlier, but they don't work well with others. And so one thing, especially I was thinking with gradients or even with glazing, there are certain colors in my watercolor palette that are finicky colors where they do not like to mix with certain other colors in my palette. So this kind of goes into color relationships, but it actually goes a little bit further because some of my paints, based on pigment properties that are inside of them, they actually will create really weird scaly type of textures when they mix with other colors. And by me kind of swatching and figuring that out ahead of time, I know that's not going to happen. So basically I'm predicting the future. I know that's not going to happen in a future painting because I am going to avoid mixing that color with another one. So it kind of goes into the last one, but just a little bit further of an explanation of watching really what your paints do and really avoiding big mistakes that are really irreversible once you paint them down. And finally, the last way that watercolor charts can really help you basically boost your confidence when you're dealing with attacking a new painting especially is color inspiration. So this is probably the biggest way that watercolor charts can help you. I feel like just dealing with art block is when you're mixing different colors, especially for me, when I'm starting to work on a new color or a new basically gradient chart for one particular color, usually as I'm painting or swatching that one color, I start to get ideas of, oh, I could do an ocean theme with this one, or oh, I could do a forest theme with this particular color, especially when it's mixed with this, or oh, I could do rocks with moss on them or stuff. So colors a lot of times will help or will start to help you interpret things as pictures, which then can help in turn help spark your basically creativity in objects that you might want to draw or you might want to paint in the future. So yeah, those are the 4 different things of how watercolor charts specifically help me build my confidence. You noticed all of them are building confidence to really tackle art block. So I hope you enjoyed this. For our question of the day, and I will be reading these comments, so please make sure to leave a comment down below. I want to know what watercolor chart you enjoy doing the most, whether it's value charts, gradient charts, color mixing charts, or glazing charts. And if you haven't done a watercolor chart, kind of tell me which one would you prefer to do or which one sounds the most interesting for you to tackle at this time. I can't wait to read your answers down below. These types of videos are more of a chit-chatty conversation type thing, so I'll be looking at those and also taking some of those for a future video. So make sure to leave your comments down below, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!